Okay, so starting with After Effects, file and import your footage, drag and drop it into the composition. Now we need to add a curve effect into your video. So just drag and drop it and do whatever I do with the curve. Just add 3 points, uh, grab them like I have grabbed to make it a little bit sharper and increase the contrast like these. So actually it will be a good to track it when it have a high contrast areas. So now it's time to track it. Before tracking it, pre-compose it and hit OK. Now come to tracker, track camera, and now come to advanced and check detailed analysis. So now wait for these to track. So now it's tracked, and now we can select a frame where there are so many little trackers. It will be perfect. So I'm just going to select this one, not that one. I think I just need to select another one from here and something like this. And now right click and create solid and camera, and now the solid is created, and it means we can now export the data into Blender. So I'm using a script for these. I will put the link in the description to the script. So you will be able to export the data in .json file, which is able to be imported into Blender. So now select everything and export composition data into JSON. Browse the location wherever you want to save. I'm going for this one, and yeah, I'm selecting a perfect location for these. Okay, so now name it whatever name you want to give. Now hit save and export. So now it's exported. Open up your Blender file and hit A and X and delete everything in the default scene. File, import, and import After Effects composition data, which is .json. I will put the link to the add-on also to import JSON data. And now we have that scene. It's time to delete the front plan because we don't need it. And now we didn't need to delete it. Come to camera view and then expand that window. If we play it, so now hit A, select everything and grab those keyframe into the first frame, because After Effects video start from 0 and Blender video start from 1. That is why we have to grab those frame and also set the ending frame to something like 163. And now we have a perfect shot. Now come to output setting and change the frame rate to whatever frame rate your video is. Mine one is 23.98. Just set it, so you will have a perfect result. Yeah, select the camera and camera view, background image, and now add an image. It's a movie clip. Select the movie clip that we added in the After Effects. So I'm just going ahead to the directory and now click it, and also increase the opacity of this video. So if we play it, you can see it's going on, and yeah, loved it because it's perfect. Now we need to save the file before we mess up something, because saving a file is perfect. Now select a location wherever you want to save it, name your Blender file and save Blender file. So this is the model that I'm using. I will put the link in the description. Download it from Sketchfab and you can also check it out. So now what we need to do, select these empty, hit Shift Ace, cursor to select it, and then what we need to do, we need to actually select the object. Before, there are so many objects, select all of them and select another object as well, and then hit Ctrl J to combine it into one object. And now hit Shift Ace, selection to cursor, and then what we need to do, we need to scale it up. This is the second sorry. Okay, so now align it perfectly to the plan. If it's not aligned perfectly to the plan, it's not gonna work perfectly, because it will feel like it's in ear and it will feel like it's not tracked well. So make sure to align it with the plan, because as you can see, it feels like it's in ear because the leg of the robot not touching the solid. So make sure that the leg of the robot touching the plan object or the solid object. Just grab it on Z axis and now rotate it on Y axis. Okay, so now if we just scale this slightly, change the orientation to local, so we will be able to move it on perfect axis that we want. Now move it backward. Don't move it on Z axis. If you move it on Z axis, we will mess up things. So just we need to move it an X and Y axis. That's it. Now, if we just play it, we will have a perfect track, as you can see in our video. Okay, so it's going well. And I think now it's time to set up some shadows. Now grab this plan on that axis and also scale this thing up, rotate it on y-axis. Make sure that you have changed the orientation to local, because we will be able to rotate it on any axis we want. So scale this thing up accordingly. Now if you play it, we will have a perfect track. You can add any kind of object. It's totally up to you, whatever you want to add. And now what we need to do, we need to save the file, come to rendering engine, make it cycle, GPU compute, turn on denoising for the viewport, select the plane, come to its object data, under visibility, turn on shadow catcher. Now if we go to render view, we can see it's casting shadow. But what we need to do first, come to render, film, and make it transparent. And now as you can see, we have some shadows due to the plan. So now let's add an HDRI. I will put the link in the description if you want to check the same HDRI that I'm using in this video. So this is the HDRI. So it's a little bit brighter. We need to decrease the strength of the HDRI, make it something like 0.5 or something. And yeah, just turn off some of the overlays visibility, so we will be able to see what's going on in the viewport. And now as you can see, it's perfectly matched with the background. And you can also turn on camera focus, which is depth of field of the camera, which will make it realistic, and also the motion blur in rendering settings. Anyways, so now if we play it, as you can see, it's perfectly tracked. And I think now it's time to set some compositing settings. Now make some render settings, like making these to FFmpeg video, encoding to MPEG 4, and now save it, render an image. So it's rendered. Now come to compositing, use node, and add a movie clip node, which is an input. Okay, so now select the video. Now add an alpha over node by shift A and alpha over, connect it, connect the movie to the top socket and the scene into the second socket. Now add an output, which is a viewer node, connect the image into the image. So now they are blended together, which is perfectly done. And yeah, I think we need to just change some color settings, like maybe the contrast or maybe the brightness. So we're just adding a color balance node in between the scene and the cell alpha node. So I will add it to the top one, and now we can just play around with the value. And Blender default compositor is really powerful because you can tweak anything separately, which I really liked. And now we can just tweak all of those and do whatever I do, because they're not exactly the same values. And I just yeah, okay, just slightly change those value, and don't be crazy with them because it will not look realistic. I just made it a little bit darker with some blue tone into it because cities always looks blue kinda. Yeah, thanks for watching.